Hello and welcome. Today I am going to play WOT 2025, a new game about Polish Territorial Defense Force. WOT means Wojska Obrony Terytorialnej, which literally means Territorial Defense Force. This is a new fifth branch of the Polish army formed about 5 years ago after the experiences of the Ukrainian conflict. WOT is a volunteer-based army force armed with only light weapons, anti-tank guided missiles, anti-air missiles and drones. Its goal is to recon and to possibly slow down enemy advance. And of course, in the Polish situation, the most possible opponent for WOT is Russian army. And this game is a kind of experiment that's trying to check if such light infantry forces are really needed in the Polish situation, and if they are good enough to maybe slow down enemy attack a bit. This is some kind of introductory scenario titled Bridge, where a Polish company of WOT tries to slow down an advance of the Russian armored battalion, or maybe armored combat group, which it will be more clear. And what kind of forces Polish player has? 3 platoons of the light infantry, a section of the anti-tank guided missiles, and sniper section, anti-air section, combat engineers section, and headquarters. Also, Polish company has 5 points of drones. As for Russia, in this scenario they have 2 mechanized companies, 2 tank companies, 2 motorized companies, 2 motorized recon companies, 1 artillery battalion, 2 combat engineers companies, and headquarters of the entire group. There are 3 versions of these scenarios, and in each of them Polish forces are stronger. This is the first version where Polish forces are weakest. So it will be quite interesting, even if it might be a bit one-sided, but I think it will be enough to show you how this system and how this game works. Board itself is pretty small, as you can see. That's how it looks. And the Polish goal is to slow down an enemy advance on the line of the river Montwa, while a Russian goal is to break through and to cross this river and to capture as many villages on the other side of the river to securing their bridgehead. So that's our goals, and you can see that this, like I said before, that this game uses 21st century battle system, and you can see that there is not much information on the counters. We have only movement allowance, icon that shows what kind of unit it has, and there we have a number of the subunit and the number of the unit. So for example, this is the tilt platoon of the 1st company. And you may ask, where is the strength, equipment, and so on. Well, that's where fun starts, because this is something very original about this particular system that I don't think I have seen quite often in any other games. So each unit has its own table, but a single unit might have various tables. Of course, I have this game in the Polish version, so everything here is in Polish, but this game has an English version as well. You can get it while ordering the game from the publisher, and then you may see that for example, here we have one 1st mechanized battalion, and here we have strength tables for the units equipped with BMP-2 infantry fighting vehicles. But the same company might be equipped with BMP-3, and it has slightly better combat values. Same goes to tanks. Here we have this Ford tank company armed with T-72, and here we have the same company armed with T-90. So you can see that there is quite a big difference when it comes to the strength of this unit armed with different kinds of equipments. So we are also using these tables to subtract losses of our units. So it is better to make some copies of such pages, so you will be able to use your pencil to mark your losses. Also, the Polish player is also allowed to place one minefield on the board. So that's all when it comes to the preparation, and now let's go on to the game. Each turn contains 16 phases. Whoa. Yes, this is quite a number of phases, but we don't really care about them here, because a lot of these phases are about air stuff, airborne stuff, sea stuff, and we don't have any air units in this scenario. We don't have any airborne units, naval unit, combat helicopters, and so this is very basic scenario with ground units only. So let's go and carry on our game. Alright, so let's go. We can skip several phases. So air phase, airborne phase, artillery fire phase, amphibious landing phase. So these four phases are not important for us here. And next we have player A movement phase. So this is Russian player, and we are allowed to move Russian units now. So here is a highway, so we can move it with Russian units like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I am moving along with this combat engineers unit, so I'm moving them both. So they are now going to make an attack from the march on this Polish platoon. Attack from the march is a special kind of attack where you can attack during your movement phase, but your strength is a bit limited. Even so, it is possible to drive enemy away from some places and to make a road from your other units. So I am going to make such attack here. I have two Russian companies. One is mechanized company and the other is combat engineers company. So this mechanized company has 7 strength points and this combat engineers has 4. And now their strength is limited because of the combat from the march, so they have 5 and they have 3. So it's 8, and this Polish platoon has a strength of 1. So they have 8 against 1, so it is 8-1 in the combat results table. And now we have to check for modifiers. First, they have a combat engineers, so they have 9-1. And now, for the defender, they are in the fortifications, so they have -1, so it's 8-1. And now they are in the city, so it is this time 2 column shift, so the final odds are 6-1. I'm going to make a roll. It is a 9. 9 is B1, so defender has to retreat 1 hex. So Polish unit moves here. It cannot retreat on that hex because it is in the enemy zone of control, and Russians are allowed to hold this place. And now we have to roll for losses after combat. We're rolling separately for each side. First, Russians had a strength of 8, so they will use a column row of 6-10, and now they have -1 because of the Polish fortifications and -2 because attacking in the city, so we will check for Polish losses in this row, sorry, in this verse. It is 5, so Polish unit suffered no losses. And now, Polish unit had a strength of 1, +1 because of the fortifications, and +2 because of the city. So this is a verse for possible Russian losses. Roll is 10, so Russian units suffer 1 step loss. And to mark these losses, we will have to use Russian table, and it was, for example, let's reduce this mechanized company. It has a strength of 7, and you can see that each of its strength point is divided into 2. So we are removing 1. So this unit still can use 7 strength points. And now, none of these units is allowed to move any further, but a Russian player is allowed to move his other units now. So I'm moving this Russian mechanized company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's mark its 5 as 5, so it spent 5 movement points. And now Polish player decides to use drones to slow down enemy advance. I'm placing drone marker, and now I have to check strength. Drones have attack strength of 6, and this is a BMP-2 vehicle, and it has armor of 2. So we have to use fire combat table with the +4 verse. So let's make a roll. It is 8. So Russian unit suffers one step loss, and it has to stop. It is it is not. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I took a wrong table. So Russian company suffers 1 step loss, and it has to stop. Because if unit suffers a step loss during the fire combat, and it is in its movement phase, it has to stop. And Polish forces have 1 drone point left, so they have only 4 till the end of the game, not till the end of this turn. So now we have. I'm going to move this combat engineers company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is going to stop here, and it will try to reduce this minefield. So maybe it will be possible to remove it without suffering any losses. But let's see what would happen if one of our units would enter such a hex, such a minefield. So let's take this tank company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say it is entering this minefield. So now we have to choose mines losses table, and we have to check the strength of this unit. It is tank company with 10 points of strength, so we'll be using this verse, and we have to roll for possible losses. 6. It means that this unit suffers 2 step losses, and again, because it suffered 2 step losses, it has to stop. Okay, and now I'm going to move my headquarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each headquarter has 20 movement points. And now I'm going to move this tank company. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will attack this Polish platoon. Now I'm moving this Russian artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it be here. And now Polish player decides to attack it with his drones as well, because artillery can be very deadly. So I'm launching another drones attack and have to check. This is 2S1 artillery, so it has armor of 1 and I have attack strength of 6, so I will use a column of verse of 5 and I will make a roll. Sorry, it is 6 in the 5, means -2. So Russian artillery suffers 2-step losses and also it has to stop. Okay, and finally I have 2 recon units that can move 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. I will use them to attack this Polish platoon more. Alright, so that's all when it comes to the Russian movement phase, and now we have another phase. This is called Polish counterattack phase. In this phase, a Polish player is allowed to move any of his units 1 hex to attack enemy units. This is something interesting because, for example, if I would have a Polish unit here on this hex, I would be able to move it here to attack this Russian unit, and then, because of that fact, this unit wouldn't be able to attack this Polish unit in its combat phase. But I don't have any Polish units that are suitable to perform such operations, so I'm going to skip this phase, and next we have Player A combat phase. So in this phase, Russian player is allowed to attack enemy units with his own forces. Okay, so let's resolve some combats. First I'm going to make it here. I have a Russian unit Russian tank company that has 10 strength points, attacking Polish platoon, light infantry platoon, that has 1 strength point. But Russians are attacking into the woods, and when a tank unit attacks into the woods, it has its strength halved. So Russians have a strength of 5. And now they are calling for their artillery support. So to make it remember that I use this unit, I will mark it like that. And now this artillery provides +5 strength point. Why +5? Why not more? Because it was attacked by drones. I will show you it. It had a strength of 8, but now, because of the successful attack of Polish drones, it lost 10. It lost 2 strength points, so it has 8, and now it has 7, and you can see that after 7 is 5. Why? Why there is no 6, no 4, and so? Because this is artillery, and artillery is very vulnerable for any losses. So when it is hit, it loses more strength, and because of that it has now only 5 points of strength. But I think it will be enough. We have 10 strength points, and we have also so we have 10 to 1. This is ultimate odds. We can't go on. But we would have, if we would able to, we would have another column shift because we are in the range of our headquarter. This headquarter has a range of 4 because headquarter has a number of it has a range of hexes equal to its strength. So you can see that headquarter has this 4 strength points. Each of them is 1. So you can see that headquarter is not very effective in combat, but it is quite effective in some other way. So it has, we have 10 to 1, and now we have -1 because we are attacking through the stream. So we have 9 to 1. Enemy is fortified, so we have 8 to 1, and now enemy is in the woods. And woods additionally provides us some modifier for combat, which is -2. So we have 6 to 1 as our final combat odds. So let's make a roll. It is 10. 10 in 6 to 1 is B1. So defender has to retreat 1 hex only. So Polish light infantry platoon retreats into these woods, and Russians are entering this hex. And now let's calculate for losses. Russians had 10 strength points, they have -1 for attacking through the stream. Sorry, they have +1 for attacking with the support of their headquarter. So they have this verse, this is their maximum verse, and now -1 for the stream, -1 for the fortification, and -2 for the woods. So this is our verse. 8, so Polish units suffered no losses. It managed to retreat without much issues. And now for the Russian losses, Polish unit had a strength of 1, +1 for the stream, +1 for the fortifications, and +2 for the woods. So we have this verse. 4, Russian unit suffers 1 step loss. So Russian company suffers 1 strength point out. And now we have another combat here. We have 2 Russian recon companies attacking Polish platoon, and Polish platoon was driven out of the city, and it is not fortified, so it will be hard time for this Polish unit. So now Russian recon units, each of them has 5 strength points, so they will have 10, and now they can use support of this Russian combat engineers, and they have strength of 4, so we have 14 against 1. So we can guess it will be 10 to 1, and Polish unit has no modifiers because it's in the clear terrain, and it has no headquarter support, so it is just 10 to 1. Not a good thing. It is 10 again. I have a luck for this roll. It is B2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes away. So it's 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I will be able to surround this Polish unit, and I'm not going to use these combat engineers to perform pursuit. It will be enough, I believe. Alright, so now we have to check a result. So we calculate the losses. We had 14, so it is 11, 15 verse. And now let's make a roll. It is 4, so Polish unit suffered 1 step loss. It is first platoon, so 1 step loss out. And now Russian losses. Polish unit has only 1 strength and no modifiers. It is 8, so no losses for Russia. You can already tell the difference when you are defending in the fitting terrain, even against strong units, and when you are just a lone infantry platoon attacked in the clear terrain. So that's all when it comes to the Russian combat phase, and next we have Russian supply phase. In this phase we have to check if Russian units are in supply. First we have to check if their headquarters are in supply. We have only 1 Russian headquarter that coordinates entire Russian attack, so all of these units are subordinates for this headquarter, and now it has to keep its road connection with its source of supply, which is north edge of the board, so you can tell that these roads link our headquarter with this edge, so it's in supply. And now we have to check if Russian units are in supply. To make it, we have to check if they are in the 5 hexes range from their headquarter. So this unit is 1, 2, 3, 4, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They aren't, but they are adjacent to the units which is in supply, so they are supplied. And now these 2 units aren't supplied, so we have to mark them as out of supply counters, and their combat and movement factors in the next turn will be a bit reduced. Alright, so that's all when it comes to the Russian Russian supply phase. And next we are going into Polish phases. What Polish units can do. these phases are essentially the same as Russian phases. So we have now Polish air phase, Polish airborne phase, Polish artillery fire phase, Polish amphibious landing phase, so we can skip all of them. And next we have Polish movement phase. So Polish player is allowed to make his movement. So let's start with this unit. It is in quite a bad situation because it is surrounded by the enemy, but it is light infantry. And light infantry is allowed to move even in the enemy zone of control. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why 5? Because it is a woods, so normally for the leg unit it would contain it would cost 2 movement points to enter woods, but light infantry pays only 1 movement point for entering any kind of terrain. Saved, I believe, saved to the high mountains and so, but we don't have any high mountains on this board, so it can move here. It is good. Now, as for this platoon, I have 2 options. I may retreat somewhere here, or I may try to fortify my unit. And I think I will fortify it. So it will be it costs the entire movement points to fortify your unit. So I think it will be good because it will still Russian unit will still be forced to attack it because it will be danger for the enemy headquarters here to be attacked by this unit, or maybe it will be even able to cut off Russian supply if it will remain somewhere out of the Russian lines. So I think that's all. I have some other Polish units here, but I don't think I will move them anymore because, well, I don't think it is needed. So I think this concludes Polish movement phase. Next we have Russian counter-attack phase, and Russian player is allowed to make a 1 hex move and attack any Polish unit, but they don't have to. Now we have Polish attack phase. Polish units are forced to attack enemy units that are in their zones of control, but only if Polish units are not fortified. So, for example, if this unit would be non-fortified, it would be forced to attack this Russian tank company, which would be very bad for Poles. But since they are fortified, they don't have to. That's good for them. So that's all. And next we have Polish supply phase. And as for this special game, rule says that Polish local territorial defense force are always supplied. Alright, so that's all for the turn 1, and we are moving into turn 2. Okay, so we have turn 2, and again we are skipping all these initial phases, and we are moving right into the Russian player movement phase. And what I'm going to do: first I will move this unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here, so it will support battle with this Polish platoon. Now these tanks are moving 1, 2, and now they are in the range of the Polish anti-tank guided missiles. These anti-tank guided missiles have a range of 4 hexes, as you can see here, and at the range of 4 they are attacking with the strength of 6. So now I'm firing with them, and the Russian T-72 has an armor of 4. So I'm firing with the power of 2, and I have to make a roll in the fire combat table. Let's make it. It is 10 in the +2. It is a miss. So I need to reduce a number of my anti-tank guided missiles by 1, so I have 4. And Russian unit suffers no losses, it can move or anything like that freely, but it decides to stay here and to launch its attack on this hex. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will support this attack with this sorry, I should place this unit here. I made a sorry for this mess. Everything is fine now, and they will support a battle with this Polish platoon. Now this headquarter moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's motorized unit, and motorized unit pays 2 movement points when points were moving down the flat terrain. So let me check if they are all 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are not in the range of. So I will move like this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So alright, and they will move here, they will move here, so they will have supply, and this Russian mechanized company will stay here. So I think, oh, I forgot about my artillery. 1, 2, 3. And now Polish player thinks of using one of his drones against this artillery, and he decides to spend one more drone point to attack this artillery. And drones have a strength of 6 against -1, so they are attacking with the level of 1. It is 9, so it's quite good, I believe. 5 and 9, it is 1 step loss only. Alright. But even so, it was quite devastating, because this artillery unit had a strength of 5 and now it has a strength of 3. So Poles have 2 drones left only. Alright, so I think that's all when it comes to the Russian movement phase. And now we have Polish counterattack phase that we don't have much to do. And now we can go right into the Russian combat phase. Alright, so let's start where we are going to start. I think here. These tanks are attacking into the woods because this is woods. So they have strength halved. This company has a strength of 8, so they have 4. And this mechanized company has a strength of 7, so their total strength is 11. Now this Polish platoon has a strength of 1, but it is supported by Polish mortars here. These mortars have a range of 4 hexes, so they can support this combat. They have strength of 2, but when they are supporting defense, they have strength reduced by half, so they have 1. So we have 4 and 7, it is 11 against 2. 11 against 2 is 5 to 1. So let's go into the 5 to 1 table, and now let's check for possible modifiers. So Russians have +1 modifier because of their units being in the range of command, so we have 6 to 1 thanks to that. Polish headquarter is here, so it cannot provide any support, so we have 6 to 1. Now Poles are in the fortifications, so it is 5 to 1, and they are in the woods, so it is 3 to 1. Alright, so now make a roll. 9 in the 3 to 1, it is B1, so defender has to retreat one hex. That's good for Russians. And now let's calculate the losses. Russians have 11, and now -1 because of the fortifications and -2 because of the woods. So it's 2-3 verse. Sorry, I should move this a bit. And now roll 6. It is nothing. So Poles managed to retreat without any losses, and now Poles had strength of 2, +1 because of the fortifications, and +2 because of the woods, so we have 11-5 verse, and the roll is made, it is 5, it is 1 step loss. So let's say that Russian mechanized company suffers 1 step loss. Alright, the other combat we have here. And now, this Russian tank company has its strength reduced by half because of attacking into the woods. So it has 9, so it's halved into 5, so they have 5. And these combat engineers had a strength of 4, so they have 9. And I am using this artillery. It has support strength of 3, so I have 9, it is 12. It is 12 against 1, so we have 10 to 1. And now, -1 because of the fortifications, and -2 because of the woods. So it's 7 to 1, and the result is 7. It is B2. So defender has to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2. Okay, and Russians are moving here. 1 and 1, 2. Okay, so let's calculate the losses. First for Russians, they have 12. -1 because of the fortifications, -2 because of the woods, 8, it is nothing. And Poles, they had strength of 1, and 1 for fortification, +2 for the woods, it's 6, 10, it is 7, so Russians suffer 1 step loss. And now let's reduce combat engineers. Alright, and now we have Russian supply phase. We have to check if all the Russian units are in supply. Supply, they have a range of supply of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all Russian units are in supply. Of course, that's great. And now we have to make a movement with Polish units. So I think I will move this unit here. And this battalion is going, sorry, this is platoon, is going to be defend in this village. So let them fortify themselves. And now this platoon moves here. So I think that's all. That's everything I'm going to do with my Poles. And now Russians, they have, now we have Russian counterattack phase. And remember that you cannot use in this phase your units that are adjacent to the enemy units. So for example, this unit cannot move and attack because it's already adjacent to the enemy unit. And I don't think any other Russian units are in a position to make counterattack. No. So that's all, and now we have Polish attack phase, Polish combat phase, but Poles are not about to attack anywhere. So I think that's all. Oh, sorry, Polish supply phase, but like I said before, these units are all in supply because they are territorial defense force. Alright, so that's all when it comes to the Polish supply phase, and this concludes turn 2. Now we are going into turn 3. So we have turn 3, and now what Russians are going to do, because I already skipped all these unnecessary phases and we are right into the Russian movement phase. So I think I will move this tank company here, and now these anti-tank guided missiles are about to fire at these Russian tanks. So they have 6, and Russian armor has armor of 4, so I am firing with +2, and this time I hit with the 3, so I think this is quite a good result. 3 in the column of, in the +2, it is 2. Wow, this is great. So Russians suffered 2 step losses. It is 2 second company, and it is hit twice. Alright, so it has 2 strength points down, and it has to stop because it was hit. Okay, so now what about other Russian units? I'm removing this minefield from here because my combat engineers spent their entire movement point in the previous turn to remove this minefield, so it is gone. Now these 2 recon units are following this Polish platoon here. I will send them 1, 2, 3. So these two companies will attack this Polish platoon. And now 1, 2. As for these tanks, I will do something else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And now my artillery. Let's move it closer. My headquarters. Alright, so that's all. And we can now go on with the Polish counterattacks, but we don't make any, so Russians are going to push harder. Now, starting with here. Here we have two motorized units. They are both armed with BTR-AT, so they don't have problems with attacking enemy in the woods because they are motorized infantry, not just tanks. And they have, let me check, each of them has 5 strength points, so they have 5 against 1, so they have 10 to 1, so it is ultimate result possible in the combat results table. And now we have -2 because defender is in the woods, so we have 8 to 1. This is going to be hard for Poles. 9. It is B2, so Polish unit retreats 2 hexes, and Russians can only move here because here we have marsh, and I believe motorized units are not allowed to move onto the marsh. Let me check to make sure about it. Yes, these hexes are prohibited for all the units save to the leg units, so only leg units are allowed to move through the marsh. Okay, so that's when it comes to the Polish retreat. And now let's calculate losses. Russians had a strength of 10 and they have -2 because of the Polish defender in the woods, so we use 2 reverse. It's 3, so Polish platoon suffers 1 step loss. You can see it has already 1 point left. It had only 1, but 1 strength point, but it was divided into 3 points, so now it has only 1 strength point to keep. And if he will lose this 1 point, he will be destroyed. And next, here we have 2 mechanized infantry brigades. They have 7 and 6, so they have 13. 13 against 1, and support of the mortars gives us +1, so we have 13 against 2, so it is 6 to 1, and they are fortified. Sorry, 6 to 1. We have also support of the Russian HQ, so we have 7 to 1. And now Polish unit is fortified, so it's 6 to 1, and is in the village, so it's 5 to 1. Their HQ has only 2 hexes range, so it cannot support their own Polish units, so we have 5 to 1, and the roll is 7, which means B2, so defender has to retreat 2 hexes, so 1, 2, and Russians are moving here. Alright, the last battle goes here. Polish platoon is in the woods. So Russian tanks again have their strength halved, so they have 9, so they have 5, and these combat engineers have 4, so we have 9. I will use this artillery, so we have 12 against 1 is 10 to 1. We also have we are in the woods, so we have 1, 2, so we have 8 to 1. 6 in the 8 to 1 is B3, so defender retreats 3 hexes, 1, 2, 3, and Russians moving 1. I think that's all. Alright, so this concludes Russian combat phase, and next we have Russian supply phase. And what about Russian units? All of these are in supply, but this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is in supply, and this one is adjacent, so it is supplied as well. Alright, so this concludes Russian actions for this turn, and now we have Polish actions. So I will move this platoon. Oh, I forgot to calculate the losses for this battle. Sorry. Russians had 12 and -2 because of the woods, so 4, 5, 8. So Polish platoon suffers 1 step loss. And Poles had 1 and +2 because of the woods, so it's 4, 5 verse, and 5, so Russians suffer no losses. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the Russian supply phase, and now Poles are making their actions. So this unit moves here to join this mortar section in their fortifications. Now this platoon, this area is safe because there are all marsh hexes, so Russian units are not allowed to move onto them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It moves here. This unit moves here. And now I believe, since most of my units are on the other on this side of the bridge, I'm thinking about destroying this bridge, but it is still, we have some Polish units here, so I think I would rather do not destroy this bridge now. I'll probably wait for the next turn. So I think that's all for the Polish actions. Russians are not launching any counter strikes, no. So let's go on to the next 4 turn. And I think that would be all for this part of the movie. Thank you for watching, and see you in the part 2.